So, Noel Joy, if you could tell me in just a couple of words what your intentions are for this time of healing. And intentions are on physical level, emotional level, spiritual level, or all three. So if you could just tell me in a couple of words.
My biggest intention would be for revitalization on the energetic and spiritual realm. And then I'm also having a little bit of pain in my arm or an old injury. My arm and sort of into this hand. So those would be my...
Okay, so your intentions are for revitalization on the mental and spiritual level, yes?
Yes.
And on a physical level for pain relief from your arm.
Yeah.
Good. So go ahead and just breathe into those intentions, inhaling through the nose and exhaling through the mouth. And as you do that, I'm grounding in, I'm activating the Reiki, I'm inviting that healing love force energy into me to flow through and channel, transmit to where it is needed for Noel. And then I begin by placing my hands at her Akasha Chakra. In Kali Ki Reiki, we have 16 chakra energy centers. And I start here at the point where her own being, her own soul, intersects with the great soul, the great spirit. And it is from here that that divine love force flows through her. And I'll work more quickly than I would if this weren't a demo. And so then when I feel like that energy has activated at the Akasha, then I place my hands at Saraswara, the crown chakra. And this is the beginning of her own spiritual energy. Actually, the pinnacle of it within her body, mind. Here at Akasha, I'm working more in her energy field, her aura. Good, and what are you aware of so far, Noel?
Well, there's a few things that came up. Definitely, as you came in closer to my crown, before you were touching me, I could feel the energy, the pressure, sort of like sort of pulsation before you touched my head. And even after setting the intention on my arm, I could feel something beginning to happen on my left arm.
So just with setting the intention, you're already feeling something in your left arm, even though I'm not working there. But the Reiki is, and it's the Reiki within you that's activating now in your arm. It's almost like setting the intention. You're sending love to that arm, and then the love force energy in the healing starts to flow. So now I'm going underneath the crown to the area we call Bindu. Bindu is a point of awakening, an awakening to that energy of the divine love force, of the divine mother. I'm beginning to have a sense of the energy awakening here where my hands are, but also traveling down through her entire being, even to her feet and out, a balancing taking place. And you know that?
Interestingly, as you moved to this point, I started to see visual spectrum things, as sometimes I do, see colors, patterns, kind of like in my third eye, waking up.
Mhm. So I'm working at Bindu, which is just above third eye. Now let me go to the third eye area. The third eye, of course, is medial in the skull. I can access this a number of ways. I'm doing it right now by placing my hands just above her ears at the temple area. The third eye is our inner wisdom, our inner seeing. And just go ahead and feel free, Noel, to comment as you will.
Yeah, I'm still experiencing some visual light.
Good.
Feels sort of like a little bit of clearing happening.
I was just using a symbol that we often use for mental clarity. Because not everyone watching this will have been attuned to the symbols, I'm not going to mention them in particular, but I was using one related to clarity, which is part of vitality. Now, I'm going to the area of her throat chakra called the Vishuddha. You can see where my hand is underneath, and that's towards the base of her neck, underneath. What I want to do, I'm just going to move this blanket for a minute so I can show this a little bit more. Now, I'm not going to actually touch where her Vishuddha chakra is located at the front of the throat, because for many people it's uncomfortable to have a hand right on our throat. Nobody wants to be choked. So what I'm going to do, you'll see, I place the heel of my little finger hand, and then I touch lightly at her jaw so that my palm is directed right at that Vishuddha chakra. Is that comfortable for you? Okay. And actually, you can always ask people if the touch is comfortable if you're concerned. What are you aware of here, Noel?
Well, I'm feeling internally sensations, even though you're not even really actually touching my neck. I can feel inside of my throat.
What does it feel like?
Maybe a little bit of tightness there.
So I'm going to just change my hand position a little bit. I'm going to create a little more space. And let's see if anything softens for you.
Yeah, it definitely feels lighter.
Good, good. Now I would normally stay here longer, but I'm going to go to Karuna Chakra. That is the seat of our compassion. I'm going to show you on myself. This would be my heart chakra right here, between the breasts. This would be Vishuddha, the throat. And there's actually a spot here that you can find on yourself where you can actually feel it. This is Karuna Chakra. Karuna means compassion. And this is our seat of compassion for others as well as self-compassion. And so many of us today need to work and have a little more opening in self-compassion. So I'm going to place my hands right above that chakra here. Now I'm going to take my back hand and take it just a little lower. You may not be able to see this, but it's so that the front hand and the back hand, the two palms, should be pretty much directly right over one another. Because the chakra is medial, it's central. Compassion.
So I'm feeling right now a lot of emotion, a lot of I could feel my physical body responding in a way where I could feel my eyes start to feel a little teary. Sadness was coming up for me here.
Do you feel like this is a sadness, a compassion for yourself or others?
I'm not sure. I think my initial response was feeling it. I think feeling it more for suffering of humanity.
Yeah.
It wasn't something I was necessarily feeling before we started the session, but certainly as we got there, I felt this sense of sadness and not that I necessarily have to, not feeling necessarily like I have to do something with it, but just that it's there.
Just that it's there. And this is what often happens in a Reiki session. There's an opening to what's already there, to what we're feeling. And there's a release. Now we have an expression. We say release, then ease. So it's like these things have to come up, be released. I'm actually doing a little physical gesturing of releasing. Where, by the way, when I release, I'm intentionally sending this energy to the core of the earth, not to the earth itself, but to the earth's core, where it actually fuels the earth, rather than sending anything that could be toxic into our already toxified earth. Yeah, you felt that?
Oh, I felt it, yeah, definitely.
Good. Okay, again, I might stay here longer, but I'm going to move on. The next chakra is the heart center. It's between the breasts. So this is a very sensitive area. We have a number of ways to access it. One is I can actually just kind of place my thumbs lightly between the two breasts so that I'm not pressing, touching any of the flesh of the breast. Is this comfortable? Okay, so here's one way. Another way, especially if you're a man working on a woman, sometimes if you're a woman working on a man, you really don't want to even touch down at all. So here's something you can do. You take the hand, your back hand, but for me, it's my non-dominant, my left, and I place that hand. So the palm of that hand is roughly between the two shoulder blades, which is the back entrance to the chakra. Then this hand can be slightly above. So notice I still am touching her, at least with one hand. We really never want to not have one hand, we don't want to not make contact because she's got her eyes closed. She's got an eye pillow on. If she doesn't feel a hand and she's not so sensitive that she knows I'm working in her aura, she may wonder what happened to me. So I can do this. Now, in some circumstances, I'm going to go ahead and just place my hand down. Is that okay? I'm asking permission. Good. And how does that feel? Is there any sense of violation at all here?
No.
Okay. But you really want to be very careful with this. You can ask the person. There's no reason that we need to place this hand here, okay? And we do want to be very gentle and delicate. So I can just also go above. I'm going to stay above for now. Okay. I'm actually moving my hand in a clockwise position, which tells me that that's kind of an energizing of the heart. What are you experiencing?
Yeah, initially I was feeling sort of like I wasn't feeling like there was anything blocked, but then I felt like that maybe my heart chakra is a little bit closed. I think it was initially thinking there's nothing there. That thought of nothing there was just that it's kind of turned off a little bit disconnected. So I'm feeling it like softening a bit.
Yeah, that's interesting that you said softening. It's like it's activating, but softly softening. Yeah, not being hard, not being clenched, not being closed off, which all of us, just going through a day, our different chakras, work differently. They close up, they open up. It's all natural as we go through whatever our experience is during a day. But here we are, just softening and opening a little bit, opening to compassion, opening to the heart, which is about those personal relationships in which we love so much. And it can also be the place, the repository of our hurt. What are you aware of now?
I am feeling really a sense of cold.
Oh.
Yeah, my temperature, I think, dropped significantly.
That happens when we relax, but is it an uncomfortable cold?
No,
Yeah.
it just was noticeable.
Yeah,
that it just-
interesting. Yeah, I think that's a relaxation, and it's interesting it happened at the heart. Again, we might stay here longer, but I'm going to move on. Okay, to the sternum area. You can see on me, so this is right below, right here for her. We call this the Manipura Chakra. Manipura means the city of gems. But it's one of two chakras that are related to our personal self. Manipura is more connected, of course, to the higher chakras, which are about our love, our compassion, our ability to express and create, and then our spiritual wisdom. So the more spiritual aspects of our self-being. Now, I'm placing my hands one in front of the other to access this chakra. I can also take one hand underneath and one above. Does one of those feel better to you?
I kind of like back and front. Makes me feel more supported.
Yeah.
Kind of more safe, I guess.
Yeah.
Not that there's anything necessarily unsafe feeling, but
it is supported.
yeah.
We got your back
Got your
as
back.
well as your front. And this is about you. This chakra is about you. To just let me know what comes up for you.
I'm feeling empowered.
Empowerment. Yeah. What does that mean to you to feel empowered?
It feels secure in my own being, in my own sense of who I am.
Yeah, that's what we all want, right? To feel secure in our sense of who we are. Beautiful. So again, I'm going to move on quickly. I can keep this hand underneath in the back, and I don't need to take this hand off to go to Nabhi Chakra, which is just behind the navel. And I can just simply slide the hand lightly down, very lightly. It's not a manipulation, it's not a massage. And then my other hand, I have to kind of squeeze it a little bit to get it directly underneath, but it now is.
Well, that was very interesting. I actually had like a visual of, I wasn't sure, it almost was like an eye opening.
At your navel.
At my navel. Very strange. Very odd. Like,
yeah.
I don't know what that's about.
Yeah. Well, did it feel good, bad, or indifferent?
Well, it felt like an opening.
Yeah. And really, the chakras are kind of like that. They can be contracted and then they open, almost like, is it the iris of the eye that opens the pupil that opens? Yeah. Let's give it a little longer and see what else arises. Okay, what are you aware of now?
I don't know, I'm feeling a sense of something sort of primal.
Okay, so we're getting more connected with the lower chakras, right? So we've got this empowerment here, and here we have this sense of connection with earth, primal, our ancestors, that out of which we have emerged as human beings. Here it's our spiritual being. And actually, it's like they meet right here. So I'm going to give you a little, are you still cold?
A little bit, but not quite as cold. It's like, it did kind of get, it was just like for a minute, it was like ice cold.
Yeah, it'll happen.
Not painful or anything, but just, yeah.
But temperature changes happen, and sometimes the practitioner feels them, sometimes the client feels them. We don't always feel the same thing, and that's absolutely fine. So I just removed my lower hand because I'm now going to Swadhisthana Chakra. And this is the pelvic region, okay? This is an area that we do not place our hands. I can hold one hand above and one hand, I'm kind of at the high hip level here. You can't necessarily see it, but I'm at the high hip level. You can see on me about like this. So, pretty much in the same direction as the pelvis, because as the hands come here, right, it accesses and opens that chakra inside. And we say the chakra's inside, but it's energy. There's no inside or outside. It's just energy. And even this whole physical structure that she is pure energy. It's not nearly as solid as it feels. And what are you aware of here?
I am feeling like I'm sensing a disconnect between my lower chakras, and like that I'm definitely living way much more up on the upper chakras, that everything like is like, hello, not really.
Okay, so with that,
not really very energized.
This is not feeling very energized. Okay, so you're having a real awareness of that. And I was about to say that the Swadhisthana Chakra and the Nabhi Chakra, those are actually the sources of our vitality. So here we go.
Here we go.
Right?
Yeah.
So I'm going to do something a little different here. I'm going to place one hand right above the Nabhi Chakra. And actually, I'll just go to Manipura with an intention of connection. Now, if Noelle hadn't said that, I don't know that I would have been aware to do this, but she did, so I'm going to do this. And often we find when we're doing healings, we do exactly what's needed, even if we're not aware of why. So I'm going to actually ask you to take a couple of nice deep breaths here, because I want this to waken up a little bit. So breathe into my belly, breathe your belly into my hand. Yeah. And then I'm going to do another thing. I'm going to go back to the Swadhisthana here. And I'm going to go up to, I'm at her shoulder, but I'm also connecting here to Karuna at a diagonal. Let's see if that doesn't increase some of that vitality, that awareness in the lower chakras. What are you aware of? I'm going to go to the opposite.
It's almost like something trying to like jumpstart.
Yeah, nice. Okay, trying to jumpstart. Maybe it hasn't jump-started yet, but we're not done. So I'm going to go ahead and move down now to the Muladara chakra, the root chakra. Now this chakra too, we don't touch directly above, but we can from the sides. We can at times bring a hand underneath and place hand from the back. We can also hold a hand above. So Swadhisthana, the chakra we were just at, that regulates vitality, creativity. And it is also our sexuality. It's our juicy parts, you know, of our being. And when she's not feeling vitality there, we want there to be that vitality there, regardless of her sexual activity. That's not what it's about. It's about being in touch with the creativity that is part of our nature, our mother force, men and women alike. And here at the root, this is that connection with earth, with ancestors, with ourselves as a human being. We are human and we are spirit.
So I'm actually feeling tingling all the way down my legs, and feeling like I was a connection with the earth, and also at the same time feeling that sparking in my heart.
Oh,
and opening my heart.
Beautiful. So it is connecting.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. Okay, now I might, in another session, I might work a little on the thighs, the knees, the upper calves. But instead I'm going to go directly to, we call them the padas, that means the feet. And I'm going to start here at the top of the feet. I'm just going to do a little demo here. So the chakra is medial, as always. So let's see. From here to the sole of the foot, it's like it's in there working. So I can work with her feet 1 foot at a time, getting both of the entrances, the top and the bottom entrance to the chakra. Or I can work both at a time from above. My favorite, and it helps to have a pillow or something to kneel on, is like this. Now, energy is pouring down, actually all the way from her crown, through all the energy channels of her body, of her subtle body. And I can actually feel it coming into my palms, but it doesn't come into me. It gets transmitted, channeled through me down to the earth, down to Earth's deep core. This releases anything that we've activated that needs to be released, let go of, any emotional, even physical toxins in the form of energy gets released. And she hopefully will have a sensation of being very grounded. And maybe even revitalized. So what are you aware of now, Noelle?
Definitely feeling energy from crown to the earth, grounding, like all the way straight through my body. Sort of waves of, how do I explain it? Like, I feel vibrational waves coming through my body. Definitely feel like this has been a really, this has been a really good chakra, sort of balancing the chakras, getting the ones that are a little stuck and slow moving. So it feels like the energy is flowing better. Yeah.
Good, good. Okay.
Definitely feeling more energized.
Good. Okay, now for purposes of time, I would have, by the way, gone to her palm, her right palm normally, because that's another one of our chakras. We all have chakras in our palms. That's why we do this wonderful healing work. But because she had talked about having pain in her arm from an injury, a previous injury, I'm going to go here now. So I've done the general healing. Now I go to the specific. And if she said she had a problem with her hip, I would be going to the hip now. If she started out having a headache, I probably would have worked with that at the very beginning. I'm kind of starting at the higher end of the area where she said the pain was, and then I'll go down. I'm pausing right here, Noelle. I don't know why, but it feels like this needs a little extra right here at this space.
It's really like the sensations right now are very much, it's both the physical, but also like it almost feels like my arm is just floating, and I can feel the work happening more in the field, even though there is physical. I definitely feel the energetic.
So you're feeling it in the field, you're feeling the energy of it. I'm going to lift my right hand up in your energy field, and I want you to this is just for demonstration, just tell us what that's like in a moment. Take a moment.
So I feel definitely some sensations of temperature change just with that, and relief of pain also in that.
So now I'm going to place
very interesting.
Yeah, I'm going to place my hand back down. What are you aware of here?
Definitely temperature change again.
Is it warmer?
It's warmer for sure. You know, I mean, but more so than it's like the fact that you're actually physically touching me, but it's
more than you would expect.
Yeah.
Just by the physical proximity.
Yeah.
And I'm already moving down here. It's like I'm feeling like I'm being called to move down to the wrist. So the healing can happen above. It can happen with hands on. It's a little bit different. But also, it's always different. A healing, you never know what you're going to get. But usually what you get ends up being exactly what you need. What are you aware of here?
I'm just feeling like I just feel better. It just feels, my arm feels better. I feel better. A lot of vibration, sensation in the arm area.
Okay. Again, I would normally work longer, but we'll just let this be. And I do feel called to do one more thing that I will do now, which is that I'm just feeling called to work on the shoulder a little bit. Which I'm hoping, of course, will help this arm, but it's just a matter of intuitively being drawn here. Good. Anything you want to share?
Yeah, I got a couple of little twitches going on over there.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So we're going to start to bring this session to a close. I always end at the head. I start at the head. I work my way down to the feet. I may come back up. I may circle around a couple times, working with the different chakras, working with the specialty areas. But I always come back. And sometimes I start by coming underneath so I can work with Bindu and Ajna, the third eye, before we're done. And I wait until I feel the signal that the healing is complete. And I release my hands. And I do one more thing for her, which is I wrap her in one of our symbols. It's called the Hasti Bala, and you'll learn this in your first level. And this just gives her an energetic blanket of protection. And kind of like leaves her a little bit in an incubator, because just because I am done with my hands-on part of the session doesn't necessarily mean that she's done. You know, if you have cookies and you're baking them in the oven and you turn the oven off, the cookies are going to bake for a while. We've activated this Reiki, right? And so it's still going to bake for her. So I always give people as much time as they need after a session. Some people feel like they need to get up right away, but no, you don't need to get up right away. So I close. I silently offer her a little blessing. And I gently send whatever energy is left that I don't need down into the earth. I ground myself again. I offer thanks for the opportunity to work with this beautiful being who is Noelle. And I thank the Divine Mother for the Reiki that she has channeled.